bench warmer.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. As always, guys, go ahead and watch us on battleviewer.com right now if you're not watching it there already. And also, thank you for following us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around.
Speaking of Twitter, if you haven't already, go ahead and answer our question of the day, which is, who are you? Your top
Who
two
are you?
guaranteed fantasy picks.
That's right. For me, it's
also that, I guess.
who are you? Meadowhawk 407 is mine, definitely coming out there. E63M6 for Refuse. Those are my two guaranteed go-tos. How about you?
Well, I've been going with Dekilzor.
Yep.
And KT, and I was adding it a third with the Kula. But, honestly, Dekilzor, you have earned your spot.
There you go.
Sure, with that last set. Just wow.
That was a fantastic run. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, our fourth and final matchup is ready for you guys. Rival versus Game Over. For the side of Rival, as always, you've got Spanish. For Game Over, we've got Mega. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Hola.
Hola, hola, Spanish indeed. Spanish, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Now, one question that we asked to Maple, both you guys coming out of the Silver League, was, what was the main thing that sort of was the biggest shock in Gold League compared to Silver? They said it was the speed at which the plays were happening. Do you guys feel if that was, kind of the same case for you guys? And if so, have you guys acclimated to that speed yet?
It's not so much the speed. It's not so much... I think the biggest thing is the amount of punish that comes out on mistakes. We always had an idea of the difference between Silver and Gold League. We've done a lot of scrimming with Gold League teams in the past. And I don't think in any of our matches, per se, I mean, there's a few here or there that we just, absolutely got blown out. The rest of them were all close. I mean, Elevate 2 days ago, we were actually up into the last match, or map. Same thing for a lot of the different maps. RU we could have beat. There's a lot of, I don't think it's so much that we got outplayed. We outplayed ourselves.
Okay. All right. Well, that's definitely something that can happen here. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yep, the punish, like he said. The speed at which they punish you for every mistake you make. You're like, oh, my track's showing. I got shot 3 times. All right, so you looked a lot better against Elevate on Lakeville in particular. Did you do anything special this time to prepare, or was it just finally coming together?
Honestly, I think it was season is basically over at this point for us. It's just play to have fun. We don't have... There's no chance of staying at this point for us. It's just go out and shoot tanks.
All right, well, let's see.
That lack of stress does help. It really does.
Yeah,
you start playing 10 times better out of nowhere.
And you're like, man, good job. You guys can keep up the good work, and best of luck tonight in the matches. Mega, over to you. Starting from Game Over. And our question that I wanted to ask you guys for a while now is how is the World of Tanks scene growing in Brazil?
Yeah, we are having some internal tournaments in South America, and we now looking forward for these internal tournaments because it's growing fast. Wargaming are giving great support for us, so we are putting our chips on that.
Awesome. Well, it's always exciting to see the World of Tanks scene growing in different regions around the world. So best of luck as that continues, hopefully, just to keep going up and up.
So you said that there are South American tournaments. Are there any Brazilian exclusive tournaments?
Yeah, we are having some Brazilian tournaments, and the winner this tournament gonna go against some South American team.
All right.
Awesome. That sounds like a little regional thing. Thank you very much.
There you go. Now, Spanish, before we get into the battle, any last words you'd like to say to Mega?
Well, of course, the power of the sombrero.
Always.
Got to be aware of that, and good luck, have fun.
All right, Mega.
Yeah, good luck for you two guys.
All right, there you go. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Best of luck, and we'll see you guys shortly.
Thanks.
I've bullied Game Over this season.
What?
A good bit. Yeah, it's not a surprise, right? But I would absolutely love, I'd wake up at almost any time of the day to watch them play a Brazilian exclusive or South American exclusive tournament. I want to see how well they play on that latency.
Right, with
that would be
zero
incredible.
zero ping. That is
Especially if they got to practice in that, they had their own pro league.
Yeah.
That could
would
be something.
That would be fun. Well, hopefully in the future that will be a reality. Right now, though, the tanks for tonight. Let's take a look at the rosters for both of these teams. And David, again, the common theme of tonight: which teams, shine that aren't quite technically on the fantasy league?
Well, so we
Points.
talked about. We actually started this pretty much with Valkyrie View Us on
Correct.
Rival.
Right.
Airtie also shows up in that whole situation. For Game Over, it's a little bit harder to pick who is the guy that does the main cornering because they all do it.
Okay.
They all play the guy who picks up tanks. They all play everything at some point in time. It just sort of depends on what the situation is. So in their case, the people who stand out the most outside of what we've been talking about recently would be Gandorfo. Sometimes this T-37 is incredible. Picking a bunch of kills, getting nice flanks. But it's usually Heish, Orange Cataphract, or Henrique Dante,
Okay.
and then occasionally Mega Monero. Because he plays a 5100 with that kind of ping, it's rough. But occasionally he gets to
Right.
come in there and have a really good game.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, all the players we're looking out for as we're in our fourth and final matchup of the night, Rival versus Game Over on to Himmelsdorf starting out. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Team Rival with two 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a VK2801 on offense. For Game Over, a 5100, 4 IS-3s, a T-32, and a T-37 on defense. I am immediately somewhat concerned for Game Over, as that is not enough autoloader. It's just not.
Okay.
So the reasoning there is, if Rival's able to close that distance in a tank-on-tank, they'll win. Plain and simple.
Okay.
But the 32, with the IS-3s, if they're put in the right corners and they hold the right way, it can make it very hard to get that 5100 into the fight. So it's not complete. It's not over right off the get-go. But there's other issues about rotations. So in this situation, if Game Over were in the north and Rival sees them, they should just immediately go west, because getting the IS-3s out of those set-up perfect spots for their camp in the north is everything.
Okay.
Like I said, if those IS-3s are dragged out of the perfect position, they all of a sudden start getting a lot worse, and a 5100 would have been a better pick.
Got it.
It also helps Rival perhaps pull them into a situation where their 5100s are ready to go. And it looks like Rival, whether this is just the strategy they came out with or they're starting to actually get some diagnosis, they're going west anyways. Nice early positions for the 5100s. One's checking the 0 line. The other one is here right next to the castle. This is where Abrasive was firing from, not when he got shot, but when he was firing from through the rest of the #U game. So you can see in this angle, straight down into that D-line area, there's some shots. They're not great, but they're there. And it's a nice place not to get damaged while you're doing things.
Right. Now looking for Rival here, one thing I want to ask about is HK and this VK2801. Obviously, using it as a scouting tank, the light tank. What are the benefits of this tank versus, a T-37 or, any other? Because we usually don't see this tank a lot.
There's really two things that I would say are advantages. I'm not going to start comparing the different scouts side to side.
Okay.
Because it's too complex. What you want to do when tanks. It depends on what you want to do with a tank, right? So say, for example, you wanted to ram somebody with your tier 6 for whatever reason.
Okay.
2801 all day. It's heavier.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works. Comparing them side to side, it's a much more complex issue. So the 2801 on this map is pretty good because you don't really need the maneuverability that much. And it's got a pretty great gun at short distances. It does a high amount of alpha damage.
Okay.
So if it gets in behind a 5100 and shoots it, perhaps with HE if you're lucky and you pen, it does a boatload of damage.
Great.
But you can just fire the regular heat round and pen no problem. And do a lot, 200, 300, roughly if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've actually played that one. I should do it again soon though, because I used to love it. But Game Over starting to come down the 8 line. Our Rival starting to push down the 3 line. We're already starting to get some isolation on the northwestern guys, but Game Over's actually in some pretty great position to shut this down. Aside from 1 or 2 tanks.
I will see if they can capitalize on this as Roller 2 Fnatic takes some damage. Henrique Dante actually taking damage from the back there. BR Game Over and Orange Cataphract still up on top of the hill. The Jenga Paul taking a good chunk in that IS-3, going down, dropping extremely low. One more shot, and he will go down. Let's see if he can stay alive and find cover. Right on Mega in that T-32, doing a good job putting some pressure on there. And cap pressure still being applied for Team Rival. Drac here on Heish. Drac popping out, taking a shot there in his IS-3. Heiss looks like he's trying to line up a shot to back them. And Omega now being the focus for rival. Urtai, 249 points there, but Drac now takes some shots over from the corner. Anubis is responsible for all the damage there going out there. 26 seconds. Rival putting 2 members on cap now, trying to find that cap fast, trying to make Game Over respond to what they're doing. Let's see if Game Over can do it. 18 seconds now on the clock. Mega pushing forward. Henrique Dante coming around the corner, but Gandorfo with the T-37 flank. Let's see if he can find the reset, because that is going to be crucial right now. Henrique Dante finding Hall, and the first tank of the battle going down on the side of rival, and now the reset's going through. Anubis getting extremely low on that 5100. World War II Fnatic. Heiss fighting Anubis now. Game Over doing a great job. 2 kills going on. Now Urtai trying to claw his way back, getting a kill, but now in an isolated position himself. Mega, the T-32, pushing forward. World War II Fnatic having to find some cover, and now HK trying to apply more pressure. Urtai should be going down. 1 more shot. Mega picking that one up, and now just 4 tanks remain on the side of rival to the now 6 of Game Over. Orange Cataphract finding World War II Fnatic. HK has decided to abandon the quest of cap pressure. A shot just missing him there. Drac Hero correcting that one, picking it up. Valkyrie against BR. Game Over. Orange Cataphract going against the Django, who only has 1 more shot in that 5100, and once he takes it, he is going to be in a world of hurt. Just those 2 tanks, and it looks like Game Over. He's going to pick up this first victory here on Himmelsdorf. There it is, the Django making the last shot count. Orange Cataphract coming over the side. A nice chunk in 354 in that 5100, and the rest of Game Over collapsing on the position. This is just a matter of time before the Django goes down, and again, Game Over. Victory there. 1 shot going through. Mega with the cleanup, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Game Over. The first victory of our 4th and final matchup of the night. And if we were talking about you called it out. You pointed out Game Over just maybe in a superior positionings to stop what rival was doing in that setup. Is there another way that rival missed an opportunity to find tanks where they could have, or was that just missed information?
It's hard to answer that question directly. It had to do mostly with rival just not really covering all of the different avenues to get in there and reset. Gandorfo got all the way around the south, and that's really what changed everything. He was able to get all the resets. Looks like 90 defense points.
That'll do it.
We can go to stats here, because there are some worth covering. I don't know how many people bet on this match, but I almost went big in it, because I expected this to kind of be a longer battle, honestly. Airtie leading his team almost 2,000 damage, the rest of them not really getting in there, and HK, not at all. BR Game Over leading his team, perfect 5, almost 2,000. Mega Monero right behind him. Rest of the team, just perfect spread. Perfect spread aside from Henrique Dante, who got pretty wrecked. And Gandorfo, like I said, 90 defense points and 2.4 KM driven. That's a lot. It's a lot. So, like I said, it would not be surprising to me at all if this match went long. Game Over's been playing a lot better. What I am surprised about, and with how many times we've talked about this, I don't get how it's still happening. Why are people not banning Himmelsdorf from Game Over? It's driving me nuts, man. Like, they're beating a lot of teams on it to get it away from them. I mean, Game Over's over there like, shut up. Let them keep playing it.
We like it. We got this going. Well, let's see if they can continue their Himmelsdorf victories. 1 battle down. Plenty more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it as the next one is ready. Same sides as last time. David, walk us through what we've got for our tanks.
Team Rival with 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a 2801. Game Over with 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37.
All right, here now, kind of a question just back on the previous battle before this one gets started. Rival had the Django, I believe, up on top of the hill. If they would have, pulled him down from the hill and watched out for that T-37 flank, Gandorfo was a part of. Would that have been a way for them to absolutely negate anything Game Over just accomplished there? Or was the positioning for the Django on top of the hill pretty crucial still?
The Django got a couple shots in, but he was on hill for too long.
Okay.
I firmly believe. And if I remember correctly, somebody drove right past him, perhaps Gandorfo.
Wow.
And it distracted him, and yeah. So, yeah, I think that's actually how Gandorfo got there. He went down the 0 and across the K, something like that. It was a very, very long flank, and he came in behind just in time. Getting that pickup might have been the difference. But Rival, slowly clearing corners. Airtie there is actually an old member of Elevate. He's on it just as recently as last season, if I remember correctly. I knew he's been on the team that preceded Elevate for quite a while. Used to play with G-Forcer on Burn All Empires, along with JoJo Jackie. He's on
Okay.
Synergy. And a number of other people. I'm not going to go through the whole list. But I believe part of the reason he's not playing anymore was because of limitations on how many European players you can have.
Huh.
And Elevate was picking up the 3 from School Bus.
So they had to drop.
They didn't have as much space. And Airtie, I believe, is from Switzerland? I don't know for sure.
Nice, nice. Sweden.
Sweden. Oh, awesome. I don't know why that's particularly more awesome than Switzerland.
Way
Not-
awesome.
I don't
Super
know.
awesome.
I
Sweden.
just said awesome.
Sweden's
Awesome, you're
awesome.
Swedish. High five.
Yeah, that's how
I
it goes.
really enjoy your fish candies
That's how it goes.
and furniture.
You'll enjoy those things. All right. Enrique Dante taking the shots down, just kind of blind firing there. HK, though, in 28-1. Getting chunked. Now dropping well below half. About a quarter of his HP remains. Enrique Dante continuing to let those shots fly there. Making sure no one's coming up. At least no one can come up safely. And now World War II Fnatic Valkyrie repositioning. Looks like they might be going for that 7-8 push. They being rival. Now looking at what Enrique Dante is doing here, just letting these shots fly in that IS-3. Is he just making sure no one can come through? Because it seems like it'd be pretty easy to time an IS-3's reload. They have a decent reload time, 8-9 seconds on that.
What exactly was the question? I was so busy. Again, I got distracted looking at the matching camos for rival. It's like, nice.
Hey.
They all match up.
It's a good
Go ahead.
thing. It's a good thing to ask. Enrique Dante was just letting blind fires go down the railroad tracks, about the 2 line there.
Oh, yeah. So he's probably actually destroying a number of destructibles that were in there in the way. Maybe next match, I'll go show them to you. It's super important to what they can do in these situations.
Fantastic. Now we have a little bit of a scuffle here on Anubis. 882 points of damage in that 5100, getting dropped to below half hull, pushing forward. And his IS-3, it looks like Rival is going for this northern cap. BR game over, and Orange Cataphract now alone. As World 2 Fnatic coming around the corner, looks like he might just be able to line some shots off. They got to be careful at the positioning for sure. And up off the hill, dropping down another member of Team Rival. Looks like they're going for the collapse here. The question is, who's going to come out on top? Urtai's shot actually going into the side of the building. That is unfortunate for that IS-3 Hall. Taking a lot of damage, and Heish picking up HK, the first tank falling for the side of Rival. Game Over might be able to do this again, showing their dominance on Himmelsdorf. Gandorfo and the T-37 coming to join, trying to shut down any sort of push here. Coming out from Urtai, Valkyrie, and the rest of the members from Rival here. Coming in the corner, the shot while they fly. Urtai being the one to take the damage there. Now having on the reload, pushing out over into the courtyard. Enrique Dante and Drac Hero backing up. And the fight going into the city. Orange Cataphract going down for the side of Rival. And Anubis picking up Orange in response. 5 tanks for the Rival remain against the 6 of Game Over. But the HP is greatly in favor of Game Over. Over 2,000. Game Over, and Enrique Dante back-to-back kills. Anubis and Urtai going down. Valkyrie now in trouble. One more shot. Help again. World 2 Fnatic picking up Enrique Dante. But just him and the Django remain. And now he's being cornered here. Mega with the ram damage. 46 going on to Mega. 27 on to World 2 Fnatic. So he did technically come out on top there, but he is not in a good position whatsoever. 2 5100s who are on reload. But Drac Hero pushing in on that IS-3, trying to respond here. Meanwhile, up in the north, the Django being chased by BR Game Over and Gandorfo. He is now reloaded in that 5100, so he might be able to put the hurt on these 2 tanks that are chasing him. Looks like his attention now is turned to Gandorfo, who's just on the run. He is just too quick here, trying to go cap from the top. BR Game Over, 432 points of damage there into the Django. World War II Fnatic taking the shots, trying to back into the garage. He just won't be able to do it. The Django going down. Gandorfo actually picking that one up, and Heish finishing off World War II Fnatic. Game Over with another defensive victory on to Himmelsdorf. Just proving your point, David, that Himmelsdorf is their map. I mean, they definitely have firm control over this entire battle. So far, that's what they've been showing.
Pretty much. We can go to stats on this one. There's actually some stuff worth covering.
Okay.
And like I said, maybe I'll make that a question of the day next week. Stats. Oh, well, I guess I can't do stats or riot.
just stats
I really
question
want
mark?
to. Yeah,
Just
like stats
stats?
or stats. Okay,
Question
so
mark.
the Django leading his team with 5 penetrations, 2,000 damage. Anubis kind of getting shut out there. Fnatic almost 2,000 in an IS-3. I thought he typically shows at 5,100. But like Spanish said, perhaps they're just kind of juggling it around. End of season, seeing what works. Maybe getting ready for next season or something.
Yeah.
Game Over. Perfect 6. Mega Monero, at least 6 penetrated out of all of them. A couple of them are very close up there. But what you see is what you get for the rest. Game Over, just manhandling Rival in that situation.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, when Rival played against Elevate Tuesday, this is the map that they actually showed the most dominance against Elevate, right? They were playing on Himmelsdorf. We started out, and they went up 3-1, I believe, coming out against that team.
It's a good question.
I think that was the case, and if so, it's interesting to see why now they're fumbling against Game Over. I don't know if it's just because maybe Elevate wasn't quite playing the top of their game.
No. It was Lakeville. It
Was
was
it?
Lakeville that Rival came out,
Oh,
and they
okay.
were playing very well.
Okay.
And
right.
yeah,
Sorry for the
so
confusion.
it was.
Oh,
And
man.
then I think it went into steps, and they
That was the
shut them
second one.
down. I was thinking about it. I didn't think you were right, but there is another match that fits that description. But we won't focus on it too much
Right.
until
no
we
idea which
until
one
we
it is.
come back and remember exactly what it was.
That's right.
So in that situation, again, Game Over, just taking control of the match. Rival not really having a whole lot going to them. We just got word that somebody disconnected,
Right.
so they'll have a short period of time to come back. More likely than not. Well, actually, I can check. I
World
was
War
going to say
II
more likely than
fanatic?
not. A Game Over. No. So the people playing from Brazil are all still connected, and unfortunately, it's World War II Fnatic struggling.
That's all right. Happens on both.
Really
these
feel
teams.
like taking a shot at a particular ISP right there, but I probably shouldn't.
Good
Anyways, so everybody in chat probably knows exactly what I'm talking about right now. Fans, let it fly. You know the
Fans,
name.
let it fly.
You know the name. Okay, so Game Over is now going to be on offense. I swear it almost looked like they were on offense last match. But in that situation, or in this situation, I don't know. Perhaps Rival will be able to hold them off.
Okay.
But Game Over looks like they're on a roll right now, and
Yeah.
Rival just doesn't look as mentally prepared as we've seen him in the past.
Sure. One of the other things we've talked about with Rival is the idea that they, strategically, they will look really good, just their shots aren't hitting, and that's one of the things that Spanish even said that they're, as a team they're working on. Did you see that in the past few matches? Did they have good strategy, and it came down to those missed shots, or was that just kind of a jumble of both?
It's kind of a jumble of both. I don't know if Rival really had a good strategy going for him that time. Game
Okay.
Over made all the right plays and all the right times and hit all the right shots.
All right, well, obviously that's exactly what counts here in this game of World of Tanks. But you got to shoot the enemies. You got to
Perhaps you
shoot
would
them.
say all the right tanks in all the right places.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready for the next battle. The DC is done getting right into this. Game Over, up 2-0 against Rival. We have switched sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
It's rare when I can make a joke that you not only completely understand, but are stunned, speechless from.
It
Okay,
blows me away.
we have the same lineup, side to side, 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and a T37 for each one.
M for mirror matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, spam that chat here. See who can play it better. Will it be Rival? Will it be Game Over here? And we're saying Game Over now is on the offense. See how aggressive that they can be, or the setup for Rival, if they will be able to kind of hold out against this Game Over on fireness that they're pulling out. Now, looking at kind of like the tilt that we're talking about, Rival, you said in the face-off how he's just less stressed, right? You were maybe talking about just like the stress just being kind of lifted, so they're able to play better in the sense. Does that less stress lead to a team going on tilt? I would assume
I don't know
less
if there is tilt left when you don't have
when you
stress.
don't have stress. Right? It's just like, oh man, all right, well.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's a personal thing as well. The whole team may not feel the stress, but a couple players still might.
Okay.
And like they said,
Individual.
they're finishing out the season. They're having fun with it, and they should. Having fun typically involves winning, in my experience.
Okay.
So there's no doubt about it. It's not like they're just going to try and roll over here. They're still going for it. They're just
Absolutely.
playing an aggressive game. A more aggressive game than they're used to. Perhaps a little bit looser of a game than we've seen before.
Wow.
And not getting as worked up about it. So pretty much all advantage for them right now, as long as they continue hitting their shots. HK going down in predictable fashion. Valkyrie Vilas got his nice little cover tank. And he unicorn right there at the end, so his barrel is out of the way, which is super important.
All right, and the barrel being out of the way just so that Valkyrie can get the shots.
Yes,
Right.
yes. There is, man, I can tell you, there's been a couple times in competitive play where a teammate of mine has died with his barrel perfectly blocking my shot,
Oh,
and you can't shoot, or it
kinda
happens,
ruins everything.
or he pivots it right there and dies right as you're about to fire, and it absorbs your shot. It's bad. It's bad. It's frustrating
Not
stuff.
what you want to be in.
Game
Now-
Over is all balled up here in the
Yeah.
Northeast right now. This is not, finally, for Rival, this is starting to look like a good position for them to be in. Doesn't look like Game Over has all the right options to get out of this situation, but I wouldn't count them out yet. They have played out a worse. And Rival so far not looking as good. Plus, they're way down on hit points. 600. Okay, never mind.
And
Literally right as I finished the sentence.
going through there. Gandorfo did manage to get out of that kind of ball that Game Over was creating. Now across the courtyard, setting up in a little bit of a spotting position, trying to get some shots there. Into Urtai or Anubis, looking for a sort of a flank there. But looking at, I was going to kind of point out what Game Over was doing when they were all kind of balled up. If Rival were to collapse on them, they sacrificed that T-37 so that Valkyrie could get those shots. If you were, Rival and you knew Game Over was all on a ball there, would you collapse upon them and kind of give up that T-37 position that you used, or would you keep Valkyrie there and make them and push them to you? What would you do if you're Rival in that situation?
Rival right now, I would just wait for Game Over to make whatever play they're going to move and then respond to it. They're in all the right positions. Game Over has done this in the past, so it is somewhat predictable to see what they're going to do now. It's kind of a problem for Rival, though, with the 5100 being where he is, the Django in that middle road, and Hall can't really help defend him. So if Game Over is able to either go through courtyard and then go up, or otherwise just bully their way across the D, it will be a big problem for the Django, and thus for Rival.
All right, well, let's see if that's the exact correct response that Game Over is doing. Mega and Heish now turning the corner, both 5100s joining together. You're going to go for a sort of a flank here. Orange Cataphract in the IS-3, doing a good job just kind of holding one of the alleyways, waiting for that time, the exact trigger that they're looking for to be able to push in on the rest of Rival. Valkyrie maintaining that position. Over in the north, the Django sitting back, a little courtyard, a little kind of cutout there between both of the buildings, and now here's the push across the courtyard, David, that you were talking about. Mega and Heish. Mega taking the first shot. Urtai there, 704 combined with the Django. Not a good amount of damage there, dropping to about half. 96 seconds on the western cap. Gandorfo is the one to start putting that pressure on. Urtai going on the corner there. So let's see how well Urtai can hold off these two 5100s. Shot going through. Mega taking even more points of damage now. Coming around to try to find the kill shot. Anubis, though, ready and waiting for any sort of push that Heish or Mega is going to be attempting there. The Django coming to respond as well. And again, if Mega takes a couple more shots, maybe even one with a good roll, he will go down. Two shots going through. Anubis come around the corner. A beautiful pickup there. He does take some damage, but a 5100 is now out of the fight for Game Over. This is looking good right now for Rival, tying the tanks up now 6-6. HP in favor of Rival now, about 300. Cap pressure has been dissolved for Gandorfo. He's decided to back off there. Orange Cataphract takes some shots onto Urtai. Only a minute and 56 seconds, so now the clock is against Game Over. They have to make sure to put some pressure somewhere on now. Respond to Rival, or see how Rival can respond to them. David, the question that I kind of asked you, looking at these teams, looking at the setups, looking at the time, who would you rather be in this situation?
I would still rather be Rival. They have all the position they want. They're on defense. It's only a minute and 30 left. So it's not very long they have to delay for.
Okay.
Once you get the clock down to 45 seconds or so, if the enemy team isn't already on cap, you can pretty much just pull back
Just run.
and it's over. In this situation, it doesn't look like Game Over is going to be able to convert this into a win anytime soon. Probably need us at least another couple minutes. Probably 2 minutes to get it down. Anubis will go down here.
That's right. Heish picking that one up. 2 shots left.
Perhaps Game Over is going to get the angles they need, but I feel like this is starting to slip out of Rival's control, but it's still going to take a bit too long for it to finally come to fruition here.
Here we go. Urtai now being cornered by the Heish and Gandorfo. A T-37 firing against an IS-3, doing his best. Over on the north, the Django fighting against Orange Cataphract and Dracula. More damage going through, 114. Urtai shutting down Gandorfo, but that's exactly what Heish is waiting for, looking for the shot before Urtai can reload, lining it up. Looks like he's going to let it fly. He picks it up, but just 36 seconds remain on the clock. The question is, can Game Over finish this one out in time? Team Rival is bunched up in a similar position. They've got to push now and make sure all their shots count. Enrique Dante taking the shots to the Valkyrie. There's some bounces there. That is not looking good for Game Over. They do have cap pressure applied, but they can't even put three tanks on and make it quick enough. Valkyrie picking up Enrique Dante, now cornering the Django. BR Game Over being a focus. Valkyrie pushing that victory as much as he can. Spanish picks up Track Hero. A nice pick up from those IS-3s. Game Over coming around the corner. 3 more seconds. 2 down to 1. Rival has successfully defended against Game Over onto Himmelsdorf, taking their first victory of our 4th and final matchup of the night. Now, just would you boil that one down to just Game Over not reacting quick enough?
They just didn't have a good strategy right off the bat.
Okay.
And Rival wasn't a great strategy, but wasn't a bad one either.
Okay.
They played it just fine, and Game Over couldn't find a way to convert.
Okay.
That's simple.
All right.
Nothing particularly special there. Same with statistics there. Orange Cataphract leading game over for 1,900. That's a lot. And Airtie, 1,800 for his team. And the rest of Rival also mostly above 1,000. And that's all there is to it.
That's all she wrote. Now looking at you, kind of the bunch of game over, all 7 members really in that kind of courtyard with that similar push. Is that a position that's at all ever a good thing to be in when all of your tanks are up in that northeastern corner?
Not really.
Okay.
There are some things you can do with it, but you bottled yourself up too much. You surrendered too much map control. That's something we haven't talked about in a long time. We talked about it several times throughout the opening weeks, maybe 4, 5, 6 times, right?
Yeah.
We kind of laid off on it. Map control is a very important part of everything that goes on here. So if you can't guarantee where tanks are not, you're already starting to lose.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. If you know where tanks are, that's obviously very useful.
Best, right.
But you also need your own spread control. You need to bully them into areas so that they don't know where you are either. Both teams could surrender most of the map and just have a light tank driving around. And if they both know where each other is, then it's, debatably who has better positions, right? But if the enemy team has no idea where you are, or they haven't seen all your tanks, obviously, naturally, a big advantage.
Yeah.
Where game over was just too easily bottled up, too
Okay.
easily prevented from moving anywhere. The courtyard play they had was working for a second. It almost would have been better if they had driven right past the D line and just taken out the Django there in the middle.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, for a moment, like we were talking about, they might have got the angles, but you did say it just might have just taken too long for them to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into the next battle, our final battle onto Himmelsorb before we get into our second map. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Team Rival, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s. Actually, both teams, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. Same.
M for mere matchups. Double going it out. M squared, ladies and gentlemen. The new
Lineup squared.
Lineups.
These lineups are squared. All right.
Gandorfo taking 2 points of damage there right off the bat. Let's see if that comes to bite him later. I doubt it. Game over with a different push now coming, sending 2 5100s up on top of the hill, along with Gandorfo in that T-37. Now, David, looking at what Game Over is doing, if they put those 5100s over on the corner battle, obviously, looking for another northern fight, it seems as if Rival is prepared for this as well.
Oh, wow. I wonder if this is a bit of meta coming out from Rival, if they're just trying it for the fun of it. Perhaps they may even be going so far as pushing onto the northeast. No, never mind. If this was meta, they'd be much more stacked than they are. I thought that Airtie and Hall would still be with the rest of the team. What they're doing now is crazy, honestly.
Okay, well,
it's a very good chance that they'll lose both these 5100s as they get pinchered to pretty much exactly what Game Over is looking for. Although Gandorfo got lit up.
There you go.
Just there.
A shot now going in through HK on the run. Found the spot, got what he needed. Now backing off. Finally, Heish and Mega making up on top. Looks like just a little too late to capitalize on taking a free T-37 down. Drac Hero taking the shot onto HK, just barely missing. Enrique Dante's shot actually not missing, and he is now dropped down to below half, but he's gotten to position where we see them normally protecting Valkyrie or that northern cap, using himself as a shield. Let's see now as we have Enrique Dante taking some damage from Hall. Orange Cataphract down here, and Drac Hero doing Battle Buddy system. And David, these 2 5100s really pushed up for Rival in that A0 position. What do you think that's for?
Well, I think they were trying to pick up the scout right off the bat, then they wanted to leave. But when their scout left, it lit all the IS-3s in the 8 line, so they will very likely get shot twice on the way through. But which isn't that big of a deal. But right now, I think they wanted to leave and they couldn't. But there's 2 5100s barreling down directly on them. If they can get a nice isolation, it'll be a huge pickup. If not, it's a definitely 2 tanks.
And here we go. Shots now already going out for both these teams. Orange Cataphract picking up HK on the score of Spanish, finding Gandorfo. Both T-37s for the teams are down. Let's see who can make better use of those tanks. Mega pushing up even further over on the corner there. He's trying to find any sort of damage.
Pick up your mind, Rival.
This is going to be interesting.
Fight it or don't.
Let's see if they do make up their mind quick enough. They come around the corner, but Drac Hero coming from behind. This is going to be disastrous from Django. Looks like it's too late. And once his IS-3 gets there, they should be able to have this fight in the bag. Coming around the corner, here it comes back to evolve. Drac slowly getting a nice little angle there. Maximum damage coming out for the Heish. 2 shots going through, and the battle has begun. Fire going back across both teams of Django. Extremely low. Mega gonna pick that one up. And now just one team of Rival. Mega the double kill. Anubis going down there. Rival falling to the side of Game Over, and it looks like they didn't make up their mind quick enough, David, to get out of that one.
Any of the options were better than what they did there. Had they actually just gone down the hill, they might have found that they had a 2-on-1 on an IS-3, which would have been a free tank in hand. Had they fired at the 5100s coming down, they very likely would have won the overall engagement. Said anything was better than what they did.
Unfortunately, they did not choose wisely in this situation. Cap pressure being applied for Game Over. Drac Hero into the ISU. Looks like he's going to be the next focus. Henrique Dante coming around the corner. Ryan the shot, double tapped. Now he's going down. The IS3 falling, so just 3 tanks remain for Rival against the 6 of Game Over. They should be able to pick this one up. This should be in the bag. Orange Cataphract, Henrique Dante coming around the corner. Nice little bit of ram damage there coming up from the tanks. Drac getting low, but Heich from the hill in the 5100. A nice pickup there. Spanish now being surrounded by the tank. Those shots being fired. Finally, the damage coming out. 806, 1200. One more shot, and he should go down, backing up around the corner. 11 seconds, though, on the cap. Pressure for Game Over. And again, now finally BR Game Over coming back. Once he gets there, this is definitely going to be their game. Or tie. One more shot away. There it is. BR Game Over picking that one up. And Game Over now increasing that lead 3-1 against Team Rival. And we were saying, again, just Game Over showing that this is their map. This is the map they definitely feel the most comfortable on and are showing that extremely clearly.
I agree. No.
Stats?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yes, sorry. I'm going to waffle this time. Let's go to stats.
Stats. Don't riot, please.
Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because Game Over is earning it right now. That's why. I'm being nice.
Good.
Being nice. It's a rare thing, as many people know. 2,400 damage. Well, just under the rounding. Waffling again. 2348. Be accurate. Henrique Dante, Drac Hero. Heich. Only missing 1, or not penetrating 1. Didn't miss a thing. And there you go. Great shooting for the most part coming out of Game Over.
Yeah.
With, as we've discussed to death, bad connections. So that is no small feat.
No.
And a timeout coming out of Rival.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, also, as soon as you point out, we're about to go into Lakeville. So now it's the map that they did really good against Elevate on. So this could be, something they're really preparing for.
Ooh, that is tricky business. I don't know how well Game Over will survive on Lakeville here. Again, why are people banning Himmelsdorf? I just don't. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it.
Maybe one day they can help us understand why not against Game Over, or like banning Step, or why Game Over doesn't ban Step from themselves. Some crazy ban map tactics that we're not going to get too far into. But also, just before we move on to the next map, or the last one, you said that any move that Rival could have made in that position with those two 5100s would have been better than what they did. So that's really where the game was lost there for him. Yeah, just throwing those things away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're being attacked from 2 sides, make it 1. Just push on the other one. Otherwise, you're getting attacked from 2 sides. You're getting flanked, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they waited so long that the timing on it just wasn't there. Even if they did push around the corner, they'd be pushing into the waiting jaws of 2 5100s. They needed to either run or dive on the IS-3s in the 8 line. I mean, as weird as that situation was,
yeah.
If they had spotted those guys, not really behind berms or anything, 2 5100s against 2 IS-3s, the 5100s should
have won. Right.
So that would have been a decent option.
Okay.
Or just taking out the 0. Like we said, anything other than what happened.
They just didn't choose the right one. And again, that position that we're in initially, what were they looking for? I mean, they took their scout in the 2 5100s up on. They were going to push the hill against Game Over. That's something I haven't seen yet coming out of Himmelsdorf. Were they expecting to catch the scout out? Were they expecting to catch some of the tanks coming over the top there? What was the reason for those 5100s in that position?
You're talking about Rivals 5100s on the 0.
Right in the beginning, yeah.
And probably to catch the scout, maybe to push up, maybe to catch the 5100s coming down. They just botched it. I don't know. I don't know. I know what it used to be used for, but it's not quite the same in 754. So,
okay, maybe just trying
Maybe
trying to resurrect an old format tactic that just quite doesn't work out that time. But again, like we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next battle going into Lakeville. Rival versus Game Over. Let's see if Rival can show the dominance that they showed Tuesday against Elevate, or if Game Over can continue to win just 2 defensive points, and they'll take it for the night. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
It is a chance for Game Over to prove they have map diversity. So right now, it's pretty much Himmelsdorf and Ghost Town to a certain extent. Rival of 5100, 2 IS-3s, RU-251, 2 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37 on offense. Game over, getting to be on defense to start out. That's a nice help. 5100, 3 IS-3s, a T-32, a T-54 lightweight, and a T-37.
Right here now, going off on the back, looking like game over, not putting any sort of pressure for the city. Just deciding to go over and make sure they can protect their western cap. And Rivals opening here. Seeing a few 3 members, looks like, over the north, the rest into the city here. Looking at the positioning of both of these teams, is it a little too early to say who has the slight advantage now? Because when I see 2 teams going for the city, that's when I go, oh, it's anyone's game, right? It could be anyone. But right now, Game Over deciding to not really care about the city at all, while Rival is. So does that give a slight advantage to either side?
What gives the biggest advantage is Drac Hero getting lit up right off the bat by the Django spotting and the rest of Team Rival lying in wait for 3 more shots right over his head.
Wow, so close there. What an amazing focus fire coming up for Rival, picking up that tank. Already looks like they're showing the dominance that they showed before. Man, if that 5100 would have gone down, I mean, that could have been GG right there.
It probably would have been GG right there. You cannot lose a tier 8 on this map and really get away with it because you're already spread enough. You have to be spread side to side. And if you lose one, the overmatch is there, and it's super easy, and you can't assist side to side. You can't rotate very quickly.
Okay.
Single tier 8 could be everything you need.
All right, now looking also, neither of these teams, David, is going for any sort of the 4 center road control. We've got Heish at the bottom, we've got some members at the top, but no one actually in it or on the road itself. Is that just a strategy? Is it not a necessity to be used? Is there any sort of strategy that would be okay when you don't have that control, or is that something that's always just really good to have?
It's always really good to have. If you want to ask me any question about, is there a strategy where X is something you can get away with, like not taking the 4 line, or yeah, there probably is.
Okay.
But on this map, the 4 line's too valuable, and the two heavy tanks here, 2 IS-3s, Valkyrie and Spanish will go middle. That's what we saw do last time. So they are taking it in the end and probably emphasizing, like we said, the kind of magic sides of the IS-3. Number of tanks getting shot by the 5100 Drac here on the way in, but this is already starting to look in Team Rival's favor as they are pushing in, and there is very little resistance coming from Game Over on the approach.
Oh, no, it looks like Drac Hero is going to be caught out here. Urtai and Hall going to continue on the flank. Urtai, just one more shot, and he should pick up that tank. The 5100 going down. It looks like he only took 2 shots out of that, so a huge pickup there for Rival, which really was snowballed off the fact that they got that amazing pickup in the beginning. 4 minutes and 13 seconds now on the clock. Now over on the side, Mega taking a good chunk of damage, being set on fire. 737, and it keeps on growing. The center rolled control showing very well for Rival. More damage coming in here. Mega going down to Anubis. The 5100 cleaning that one up. 2 tanks now falling for the side of Game Over. Not a single one going down for Rival. And Heish looks like he's going to be the next point of focus. Anubis doing a good job keeping Henrique Dante there. Actually getting damage on him. Henrique Dante picking up Anubis, a 5100 going down. So finally a tank falling for Rival. Like we were saying, they just seem like they are in superior positions. 35 seconds is on the clock here. David, see any crazy good positions? Anything Game Over might possibly be able to do? All right, looks like Gandorfo in the center.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, looks like Gandorfo in the center road. Spanish coming up behind him. More shots going through. 15 seconds on the clock. Heish does find HK. Unfortunately, that was no one on the cap. Valkyrie getting focused down a little bit. Now Heish going on the way through. Looks like he's going for a reset. The damage coming out there, but he might not be able to make the corner in time because one more shot and he should go down. Hall looking to pick that one up. He does before any sort of reset goes down. 4 seconds on the cap. Spanish picking up Gandorfo. Just 2, now 1. Rival successfully assaulting Lakeville. They might be coming back here against Game Over, picking up a victory, making it now 2-3 for 4th and final matchup of the night. Rival, just a really good push there. I mean, that pickup in the beginning on that 5100 was absolutely beautiful and crucial to what they just allowed that snowball to continue.
Absolutely. It's a nice spot. Game Over not getting their 5100 far enough down towards the red line, towards the bottom, to effectively get out. That wasn't even an aggressive spotting position. That was pretty far back. So that's definitely a mistake on Game Over's part more than a success on Rival's part.
Okay.
Very easy not to get spotted in that one. It's way too shallow of a line. overall, nothing really to cover in stats. Highest for Game Over, BR Game Over, and highest for Rival is Spanish. You usually don't see Spanish play.
No. It's funny. The power of the sombrero coming out strong.
Oh, there you go. Maybe he has come out of Chrysalis and he's finally completed his transformation into the mascot like he said he was.
That's true.
And the mascot's just mean at tanks. I don't know.
Wow.
We'll see if he can keep living up to that. I don't remember him standing out on the stats the rest of the time, or is that the first game he's in? Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of 14 people playing every game.
Either way, we're seeing him, which is great and exciting, and hopefully he continues to put up the points. Now, looking at kind of that opening from Game Over, something we talked about briefly, that center rolled control. If Game Over were to have that, do you think that could have gone in their favor? Earlier
Perhaps. I mean, well, the problem is, you asked me a question like that.
Yeah.
Okay, if Rivals tanks aren't in the 4-line, where are they? And that's where I get in a situation where I'm like, I'm not really sure how to answer, because if the IS-3s just
too
vanish,
many possibilities.
Sure. It's just 2 tier 8s gone.
If
they're in the
then
West,
we're great.
then Game Over is heavily weighted out of the West with no artillery and not very good angles. If they go into the East, well, then Game Over's getting flanked, and I don't really know where Game Over's tanks. It's complicated. Everything is complicated in this game. It's why I waffle so much when I talk about stuff, because I'll say something with certainty and then catch myself and be like, that's not certain at all.
Right.
If this,
just
this, or
in
this
that
happens,
position.
it's just mountains of variables.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let those mountains continue to grow as we're into our next battle, Rival versus Game Over. Let's see if Rival can tie this one up 3-3, or if Game Over can pick up another victory on defense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tank.
Team Rival with a 5100 2 IS-3s, an RU-251, 2 T-54 lightweights, a T-37. Game Over with a 5100 3 IS-3s, a T-32, a T-54 lightweight, and a T-37. A lot of T's.
T's coming out indeed. These teams.
Rival perhaps setting up for a more... Nope, never mind. It's really hoping for a more aggressive option here. I think both of these teams are backing off and playing things a little bit too safely, considering their opponent, essentially. Both of these teams are somewhat weak to a rush on this map with their opening lineups.
Okay.
So it would be more in favor of Game Over at this point, considering they've fallen back fairly quickly. But it's not something that Rival couldn't convert with just a classic 0-line rush with a 4-line presence. A bunch of tanks for Game Over are stepping into the trap where you can easily get those shots off. And if they keep going even further west, it would pretty much be GG for that match, for that game, I should say. Differentiation between matches and games sometimes gets confusing in this game, as there are so many of both. But I would be very interested to see Game Over get extremely aggressive off the bat. Shutting down what Rival wants to do would be interesting.
All right. We'll see if they do that now. Rival, looks like they're going for a very similar start as last time. Anubis, Hall, and Spanish going in the corner. The difference being that they didn't get quite as much damage on the 5100 as last time. It was Drac Hero in that one. Gandorfo, though, in a C-37, getting caught out, taking a good chunk there. The slow push going through Urtai and Slick. They're going to be joining in the Django, going for that forward presence by himself. And now this time, just instead of 4 members pushing down the valley, they now have 5. David, with Drac Hero, though not low, as low as he was, I mean, how much more considerably will this be difficult for Rival to push in onto this this western cap?
Well, not much.
Okay.
It's just an IS-3 and a T-32. The T-32 can cause problems, but it's still just not enough to really stop with how much hardware they're bringing, although it just took a lot of damage. 2 very high rolls putting Hull down to 803.
Right there, Gandorfo also, as you guys saw, going down in his T-37, so a tank falling for Game Over. Let's see how this push goes. Looks like a bunch down that single road there. Urtai, Spanish, Hall, Anubis, followed by Slick. The Django having that forward control. HK doing a good job spotting. Let's see where this kind of goes from here. Let's see if Game Over has a certain or correct response. Make sure that Rival doesn't get this free cap pressure. HK getting dropped low in his T-37. Looks like his spotting days might soon be over as he is lit. Takes some damage. A shot going out from VR Game Over. Just crazy Hall. Hall's actually connecting. HK looks like he's being chased. Might be going down here. BR Game Over getting dropped to below half in that IS-3. Heish does pick up HK from across the lake. Now his focus is turned to Django. BR Game Over taking some more damage still. It's IS-3. 4 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. One more shot. BR Game Over will go down Hall, line that one up. Let's see if he can pick it up, or if it's going to be a bounce. Drac Hero finding the Django. Actually in the center. The RU-251 going down. Now center road control going out for Game Over. 5 tanks remain for the side of Rival against the 6. Although BR Game Over should be going down any moment here. Let's see how they can use this slight advantage that they have HP-wise, tank-wise, and maybe positionally against Rival.
It's no longer slight, as you were speaking, as tends to happen with us. Tons of damage coming out on Rival, expanding that gap to 3,000. Game Over, BR Game Over lasting way longer than he should have in that IS-3. Slick missing an opportunity to get to seal the kill while he was still in a vulnerable spot. Rival overall refusing or failing to close this battle. And this is pretty much what you were asking me last time. What would happen if Rival didn't have the Western, or the 4-line? Well, take both IS-3s out, put them in the West.
This is
which
what happens.
What they did. And this is what happens if that happens and you play poorly.
Thanks
which
for
is overall
thanks
what's
for
going
answering,
on.
Game Over. Thanks for, thanks for answering my question.
Game Over now had all the time in the world to drive their tier 8s up. And it just gets to be a nasty position where you don't have anybody to flank, so you really don't have anybody to shut this down, which means it's just a shooting gallery for Game Over until Rival dies.
Back here was reloaded. That's exactly what Game Over was waiting for. Shots going into Spanish, getting very low in that IS-3. Heish taking some damage out in return. Looks like it was Slick and Urtai being the ones, but Spanish, one more shot, and he will go down there. The cap pressure has not been applied for Rival enough. Hall getting shot as well. Now just backing off completely. Just 2,000 points of HP. Now less remain for Rival. Over 5,500 for the side of Game Over. And we're saying this should be Game Over's battle. Almost every member from Rival is 1 or 2 shots away from going down. 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. They have to put pressure on. It's just not what they want to be doing right now. Slick, another 391 into that T-54. Now he himself is 1 shot. It's just a matter of time. Game Over picks up another victory. It's their first victory on Lakeville and another victory against Rival. 4th matchup. They may pick up another kill. Orange picking up Urtai, and now the tanks will be falling. Game Over, 1 by 1, cleaning this one up. Mega on the T-32 reload. Let's see if he can get any more kills. Hall taking a shot into Drac. Drac, though, has 5 shots ready and waiting, getting some damage in that 5100, but they're looking for Hall. Anubis poking out, going down. Orange punch, Slick, Drac fighting Hall. There's the pickups. Triple kill coming out from Game Over. And at the end, Mega killed Drac. That is something you guys did not see, but we did.
Drac probably deserved it.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know.
Drac deserved it.
Just saying it.
Doesn't matter. Game Over picked up that victory. Now just needing 1 more onto Lakeville. Rival will be switching sides. While we'll be going on defense there, but really a really good play coming out from Game Over, finding that middle control. Like I said, Heiss, I believe, going at the Django, I believe it was, and coming out on top.
They got it. Rival gave it up, which was the bigger mistake there.
Okay.
They possibly could have converted that whole thing into a win with their 2 IS-3s, but HK going down, a number of things, running the same thing twice. A lot of stuff adding up, and Game Over took advantage of it. Closed it out, no problem. They shot better. Their entire stat line, nothing's really worth looking at in that overall match statistically.
Okay.
But it's just all of them are over 1,000 aside from Heish and Gandorfo. And Heish played a T-54 lightweight, and he had to do some critical stuff and he survived, but he had to do a lot of dancing. All the tier 8 heavies, though, once they got in there, no problem.
Right.
Shoot all day. They have all the terrain. You can't drive across
Shooting
the
gallery.
cap. Shooting gallery.
That's right. Now coming out now, Game Over only needing 1 more victory. We will be on offense. If you were Game Over right now, what sort of strategy would you be running against Rival to try and take a quick victory and just clean this one up? Would you go aggressive, or would you play a more spread sort of offense?
Well, the problem is I would want to go aggressive, and that's assuming that Game Over hasn't practiced Lakeville that much. In my mind, if they haven't practiced steps, they probably haven't practiced Lakeville. That's I'm seeing some corollaries there.
Okay.
So maybe they have, and if they have, they can play it spread all day, and that's what they need to do with their ping issues and all that. But if they just play aggressively,
just catch.
They can very easily close it. They have a match buffer to make an attempt at it, and perhaps Rival will catch them. But the only problem with it is their ping. And going head-to-head like that may not work out for them.
Let's see if it does, though, ladies and gentlemen. If they even do go aggressive, as we're into our next battle, Game Over against Rival. Game Over up 4-2. They just need 1 more victory. Let's see if they can get it right now. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for
If
tanks.
there was ever a time to go aggressive, now it is.
It is now.
It is now. I guess I say it like Yoda. 2 IS-3s, a T-32, 3 T-54 lightweights, and an M44. for game over.
Wow.
5 IS-3s, a T-54
Wow.
lightweight, and a T-37. What does that say? Hardline 0 push with a 54 in the middle and a T-37 wherever. Who cares?
All
That's
right.
what it says.
Let's see if this is the aggression that Game Over needs and is looking for, and if they can claim this one a very hard push into the city. But Rival looks like they know what
Oh, air
Game
tie.
Over is looking for, and they're just getting out of there. Urtai better be careful. That position where he's at right now in his T-54, knocking down a fence. Going over here up in the north. Mega, Drac, Henrique Dante.
There's no spotting. No spotting of the 0 line.
Oh no.
J Smooth needs to show up here and say you're in the danger zone. Oh, well, I guess that puts to rest what nationality he's from. He literally has a Swedish flag on the side of his tank. My
Sweden!
fault, Airtie. My fault.
Showing you what's up.
If you had any leftover Nokia phones, you probably load them up into the cannon and fire them, and everything will just instantaneously explode. Although if you do that, you may literally blast a hole in the earth. So maybe don't.
Right. I think that you have to like spend so much in-game gold that no one does that anymore. That is definitely not worth it for them to bring that.
Team Rival sitting down here. They're in a interesting position. It'll be
That is
enough.
interesting.
It should be enough. Although Game Over, I don't know why they have a 54 in the 0 line and an IS-3 in the 4. Seems backwards to me, but two 54s heading over after BR Game Over's IS-3. They do have them lit, and it will be a firefight.
Let's see what happens. The damage coming across both tanks, taking some, but now in the center, the T-54 getting shot from across the lake. BR Game Over just having to back off, and the push. The other push coming in the south end from Game Over, fighting Henrique Dante and the other three members, Spanish Hall, and Anubis across the lake. A beautiful pickup there on the slick, 1,200 points of damage. Gandorfo picking that one up. A tank falling to the side of Rival. Let's see if Game Over. Heish picking up HK. The two T-54s in the center are now gone. The 4-line center road going over to control of Game Over. And now let's watch as they continue to press the pressure onto Rival down here in the south. They have the free reign of the Eastern Cap, but it looks like they're just going for kills. BR Game Over picking up Anubis there from the center. That IS-3 doing work. Heish speeding along with Henrique Dante. Looks like they're trying to get around for the flank against Spanish here. 2 shots going in and one more, and he will go down. The Heish should be able to have the damage to take this one. Let's see if he can pick it up. There it is. Spanish falling. Still 7 members of Game Over to the 3 of Rival. Hall going down. Looks like to maybe Drac Hero here if he can get the shot in time. There it is. Now just an M44 and a T-54 lightweight. Game Over. The aggression that they needed. Looks like they picked it up. A clean sweep coming out there to end the night. 4th and final match going down 5-2 victory. Congratulations to Game Over there for picking that one up. That was the aggression, obviously, that they needed.
It worked.
It worked.
It was a little bit strange as far as I'm
Woo.
concerned, but hey, doesn't matter as long as it works, right?
That's
Not
right.
sure why.
Whatever gets the job done.
Not sure why both 54s just backed off a single IS-3, but it happened, and it led to a
And didn't work.
huge game in hand for Game Over, picking up their 2nd overall win of the season, I believe.
Woo! Congratulations to them for that victory. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll conclude our 4th and final matchup of the night. Let's go over the matches just in case you guys missed anything. Up first, we had Refuse versus Simp going into a tiebreaker. Simp coming out on top 5-4, followed by #U losing to Noble 1-5. Third, we had High Voltage beating Elevate 5-1. And finally, what you guys just saw there, Game Over beating Rival 5-2. David, out of the 4 matches that we saw tonight, which one was your most favorite and why? What was the highlight?
That's a hard call.
I know.
I'm gonna
I know.
have to go, and Elevate won't like me for this, but I'm gonna have to go the High Voltage versus Elevate, just because it was so many good strategies, so many smart plays coming out from High Voltage. But Refuse and Simp was there too.
Yeah.
Simp playing a much higher level game than I've seen
Absolutely.
him play in a while, able to take down Refuse, who was up until then, still is, 2nd overall in the league. Refuse showing perhaps a weakness in their overall gameplay.
Yeah.
But if ever there was a time to lose, considering High Voltage beat
Right.
them, and they knew it ahead of time, but considering High Voltage beat Elevate,
Yeah.
that was fine.
It's an okay. It's
They
an
can
okay,
still
it's
maintain
an okay time
2nd,
to lose.
and it's a little bit of a wake-up call going into the playoffs of perhaps
Always
people
good.
significantly further down in the standings than you can still take some games.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the playoffs, that is the finals actually are going to be October 3rd. Mark it on your calendar. The winner, $75,000, going to be here in Los Angeles, California. And kind of back to the highlight, I was excited watching High Voltage versus Elevate. The Minds play from High Voltage was just crazy, where it looked like they were going for a flank that they lost, but then come out on top. fantastic plays all around, but very, very exciting matches. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. As always, follow us on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. Thank you guys for watching this on BattleViewer.com for all of you that have. And also follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you. One thing is happening is next Tuesday, August 11th, is going to be our 8th and final week of this Gold League season. We have some fantastic matches. Up first, Maple Freedom versus Lamp, followed by Wk7 versus Simp. Third is going to be Synergy versus Noble. And finally, to close out the night, Refuse versus #RU. Is going to be a fantastic amount of battles. Again, the 8th and final week of our Season 1 Gold League. Make sure to tune in and check that one out. But as always, on behalf of everyone here at the WGLNA, that has been David Williams. I am Christian Toma. And as always, thanks for stopping by.